Mighty Bomb Jack was released in 1987 by Tecmo and was later ported to the Amiga, Atari ST, and Commodore 64. I didn't realize until I did this review that this game was actually a sequel to the game Bomb Jack, which was released in 1984. This explains the need for Mighty in the game title, even though as you play you realize that Mighty was more than likely used because this game gets mighty boring. The game is set in a pyramid, which you figure out from the title screen, and the object of the game is to advance through the levels and save the royal Pomera family. No real writing or story is involved here, folks, so if you're looking for a game to get invested in, this is not going to be the one for you. You spawn as Bomb Jack, a chubby guy with a cape and Viking helmet, and start out collecting bombs. You'll find treasure chests all over the place that are unlocked by jumping on them twice. There's a plethora of items that can be found in the chest, from bonus points to Mighty Coins. Mighty Coins give you power-ups when used by pressing B. The first power-up turns you into Blue Jack and allows you to open the orange treasure chest. The second level makes you Orange Jack and allows you to open any chest just by touching it. The third level turns you into Green Jack and gives you all the previous powers, while also turning any enemy on the screen into a coin you can collect. There are certain points in the game where you must be able to power up because the chest in your way won't allow you to jump on it, and you'll have to be able to touch it from the side. There are basically 2 segments to each level, the first of which doesn't require you to collect the bombs, and you can speedrun as long as you have Mighty Coins. The second segment, however, requires you to collect all the bombs before the exit door will unlock. To prevent you from being able to stack power-ups too much, the game has a built-in punishment system. You heard that right, a punishment system. If you collect more than 9 Mighty Coins, or you push your timer beyond 99 by collecting too many drinks, you're given a screen that says, "You are greedy, go to the torture room." Isn't it awesome to have an NES game judge your morality? Imagine being a kid playing this game and collecting all these chests to give yourself the best possible chance of completing the game, and being told you're too greedy and must be punished? Once you're in this room, you must jump and land on the ground 50 times while all different types of enemies fly around you. And believe me, you don't want to end up in this room. I only had to do it once because I found out what forces this torture, and it is insanely difficult to get out of this room. But what do you expect when you're told to go to the torture room? What are these enemies, you ask? Well, they're the typical collection you'd expect to find in any ancient pyramid, of course. A mummy will spawn and morph into one of several different enemies that you can read about in any kind of Egyptian lore. Skulls, fireballs, obese birds, brains with legs, lobsters with breathing issues, and rabid bunnies you'd see on an acid trip are the mishmash of enemies you'll find. Their behavior and movement can be quite erratic at times, and predicting spawn points is a pain in the neck. The game's plot and objective are pretty simple. Just get from point A to point B while solving some small mazes on occasion and avoiding enemies. Balance your power-ups without being too greedy and upsetting the programmer's moral compass while having some ability to avoid enemies floating around, and you're good to go. I didn't own this game as a kid and only remembered seeing the cover at the rental store, so this was an entirely new experience for me. As you start on the first level, the obvious thing you'll notice is that these colors are horrific. Lots of gray and green all over the place, and there's no real texture. It's depressing to look at, to say the least. This doesn't improve much as you advance, with the color schemes changing a bit, but the same basic look throughout. The enemies are no more than 2 colors, with the only exception in the game being the mummy at 3 colors, counting his eyes. It's apparent the designers were not too worried about the aesthetics of the game. Another couple of hours color tweaking would have taken the visual appeal of this game to a much better level of enjoyment. The controls aren't anything special either, but they get the job done. I didn't feel at any point like I didn't have control of Jack, and the only times I died were when there were so many enemies on the screen they became unavoidable. The game's difficulty was pretty balanced given the simple objective. It becomes obviously more difficult with each level, and once you reach level 3 and 4, it's already annoying, so be prepared to chuck some controllers in frustration. The music, as with most NES games, is only a few different loops over and over, and it didn't provide anything special and didn't add anything to the experience. But I tend to be pretty forgiving when it comes to the music on NES games, given their abilities at the time. The music does change, however, when a power-up is collected or something happens to the game, so it wasn't painful to listen to. Mighty Bomb Jack provided some entertainment, but it was short-lived. I got bored with the game and its lack of new enemies to face, and it got repetitive extremely fast. After scoring all the key points of a good retro game, and giving this game a final score of 2.4, I can safely say that Mighty Bomb Jack is a game to pass on. If you're a collector, it's a recognizable game and wouldn't hurt your collection to own it, but it will not be because you intend to play it much at all. There's other games with similar playstyle that offer a lot more replay value and tons more fun. Lack of originality and less than exciting visuals really brought this game down for me, and if you're looking for something that really gets your retro blood pumping, continue looking. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment below. If you'd like to suggest a game for me to review in the future, please leave it below in the comments, or feel free to send it to me over on Twitter at Claytomus. As always, thank you for watching.